Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Let's try to touch that sacred space. Maybe do it a little bit better than we've done before. So close your eyes, and your awareness is on your heart. Notice your body, your emotions, your mind as you have your awareness on your heart. Now, the idea is to start moving inwards. The spot that you're trying to find is eventually in the physical heart. But we don't have to look at it from an anatomical point of view. We're exploring the heart to find this sacred space where we have expansion but are present all at the same time. One of the students described it as like being in a room without walls. So there's almost like a paradox to it. And it's more than just feeling nice and it's more than just feeling blissful. But to go and find this space, we're going to move little bits at a time because we want to shift out of our everyday mind and we want to shift into the part of the mind that's tied to intuition. It's tied to our Lama yoga and our materialization breath and our three brain practice. All those things have been cultivating something. So you move a little bit and then stop and explore. If you go too deep too fast, it's not that something bad happens, it's that you just can't hold on to it very much because the mind and the body will kind of kick your attention and your awareness off so that you're not able to linger there. We want to find the space and be able to linger. We want to be able to spend some time there, you know. So begin moving inward just a little tiny bit. And when you start to feel a little bit of pushback or just a little slight discomfort or like, something's happening, just stop and be still right there. Go a little bit deeper. You're just being still wherever you're at. Go a little bit deeper. And wherever you're at, maintain your stillness, maintain your awareness. Wherever you're at, you're maintaining your stillness and awareness. With your awareness on this spot, begin to visualize a beautiful rose. Continue to visualize the rose. Now let that go for a moment. Just let everything go. So, we practice different things. Like I said, Lama Yoga, we practice materialization breath, we practice three brain, the three brain technique. We practice the rose technique. We practice doing things with our awareness on the top of our head and visualizing the thousand petal lotus. And all of these are things that we're developing independently, but they're like building blocks. And at sometimes you start to take the different building blocks and you build something even bigger than the technique itself. Right. So it's really good to learn things in those pieces, but then eventually we start putting them together. Right? So let's talk about the materialization breath for a moment. Right. So the materialization breath, which I'm going to demonstrate and we'll practice, but the reason why it's called the materialization breath, it's very similar to Lama Yoga, but instead of inhaling up and exhaling down, there's a throat lock. You hold your breath for a moment. And with that, you're flushing out, you could say, the conditioning that's happened over the years in your body. You're flushing out the effects of negative experiences, bad experiences, poor experiences, just boring experiences, whatever it might be. Right? Even when we have to let go of something because we've outgrown it, there's still like an effect in the body that we have to flush out. So you're materializing light, right? Light is tied to the creative process, and light is the building block or the foundation where we begin to experience divine love, right? We can't experience love without light. So that's why we always focus on the light first. And the light has a very strong purifying effect. Right? But even deeper, this is tied to what you would call harmonics, right? In mystical practices, when we talk about vibrational healing can be divided up into different sections or different segments, right? And the idea of harmonics is about breaking down old patterns, be it in the body, the emotions, and the mind, and then establishing new ones. You know, we talk when we are addressing intuition and clairvoyance, we talk about the intuitive mind and how it can take in information and be spontaneous and learn, grow, and evolve and heal and innovate, even perceive the higher nature. And then we talk about the intellect that's based on how we process the five senses. And it is about repetition, it is about maintenance, it is about holding everything together. It's about condensing the things that we've had experiences and learning from the things that have happened in the past. And they're both necessary, but they're not both just of the mind. The mind is a reflection of things that happen in nature. And so even when you look to nature, or even when you look to our growth and our evolution, there is a spontaneous component. And then there is a part that is about repetition and establishing a pattern and then maintaining something. Part of what causes us our suffering is we get locked into patterns that repeat, that really don't help us to feel good or help us to think good or help us to grow or evolve. They happen. They don't just, the good ones aren't the only ones that happen. Everything happens, right? So we have to be able to figure out a way to move past this idea or this aspect. It's always going to happen, but if we're constantly materializing light, you're breaking down the old patterns, you're upgrading them to the new, and you start to establish newer patterns that help with our spiritual growth, our spiritual evolution, with healing that wouldn't happen otherwise. And then we step back and they get maintained and they repeat themselves and they keep going even after we've done doing our session. And so, this idea of exploring the sacred space of the heart is also just a step, you know. But if we start putting things together, we go into this deep space of the heart, we're able to be there, we're able to experience it. And then we add the materialization breath. Our experiences in that sacred space of the heart then become a little bit of a pattern. They become something that we then start to repeat in our mind, in our emotions, in our body. And this starts to change the state that our body is in. Because you could say loving kindness is not an idea, it's not a thought, it's not even an action. It's a state that your body is in. Those thoughts, those behaviors, those ideas are all manifestations of that state. You could say the same for truth. Truth is more a state than it is an idea or a behavior or a thought or opinion. It's a state that your body is in, right? So, how do we shift our inner state? Like there's these different aspects that we develop. There's 4 primary states that we have to develop to grow and evolve as an incarnated soul. So let's explore this a little bit, right? So again, the materialization breath. You just watch me for a second. Your chin is down. You inhale, hold your breath, and then up, and then exhale. And then down, inhale, hold your breath, up, exhale. And then down, inhale, hold your breath, up, exhale. Down, inhale, up, exhale. Down, inhale, up, exhale. Down, inhale, up, exhale. Down, inhale, up, exhale. So let's just be still, be aware. Your eyes are closed. You're just being still. Let's practice that again. Chin down to the chest. You're inhaling through your nose. Hold your breath. Up, exhale. Down, inhale. 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 Up, exhale. Just be still. And as you're being still, your awareness is on your heart. Begin moving inward to that sacred space. Little movements at a time. Go a little bit deeper. Maintain your awareness where you're at. Begin visualizing a brilliant, beautiful rose. Go a little bit deeper. You're still visualizing the rose. Now chin down to your chest. Inhale, hold your breath, head up, exhale. Down, inhale, 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 up, exhale. Just be still. Just be still. Go a little bit deeper into the heart. How do you feel? Your body, your emotions, your mind? Let's see if we can take this a little bit deeper. We're going to go to the Mystic Vibration class. So we're posting the link. And if you want to go a little deeper, I'll see you in just a couple of minutes. And if not, just know we love you guys.